Any confirmation there? This is our first time going live here on Irish Red Devils TV. Give me some confirmation, Gags, that we are live. If you can, that'd be very helpful.
Can't yet, but there's usually. Oh, actually, wait a minute.
There's in,
Wait
there's
a
always,
minute. It's usually like a 20-second delay.
yeah, I'm seeing it here now. There
Yeah,
we go. Right, we
yeah,
know we're live.
yeah. We're live.
Happy days. Right, okay. The dawn of a new era in Irish Red Devils podcasting. We are live across the world on this international break, and we obviously, with United not having any games this week, we kind of wanted to do something, and we thought, like I said, we're a month. This is the fourth week of our shows, isn't it, guys?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Must be.
fourth week. Yeah, fourth week, and so I think that we said let's do something where for all football fans, an open chat, and we're going to do something tonight a wee bit different. We're going to, if any of you have seen an old ESPN show, I don't think they do it anymore. It's called Around the Horn, where you've got topics of discussion, and you kind of make your statement, make your case, and then debate it out. So I'm delighted to be joined here tonight in the studio by my co-host, as always, Gags, Madman Martial. Down a man, welcome along to the show, Gags.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Fresh out of Dublin after the lovely win against Ronnie and his boys the
Yeah,
other night.
yeah. We were down at Troy Park Stadium in Dublin, and as well as Troy Park Airport. I think everything's being named after Troy Park at the moment. What a legend! What a legend! And can I just say, a few days before it in our Spurs review, I did say to the Spurs fans, you shouldn't have sold him.
Yeah.
That was a few days before he became sensational Troy Park.
I'll have to clip that up. I do remember you saying it, but I will clip it up
Yeah,
and put
yeah.
it out there and give you the respect. But we're also joined here by a returning guest. The regular watchers of our podcast will recognize this man, Chris Watson. Chris, how are
Hi
you doing
guys.
tonight?
Yeah, very well, very well. Glad to be back on.
Are you a big England fan, Chris?
Yeah, massive. Yeah, yeah. No, I watch all the games,
And
and looking forward to the finals next year.
That's something that, as an English fan, it must be great just to take for granted. Whereas,
It hasn't always been like that. You know, I can remember the 0-0 in Rome, and also I can remember the kind of the game against the Netherlands with Taylor in charge. But the last few years, it's been plain sailing. 22 goals for, 0 against. So I'm happy with that.
yeah.
And we're joined as well by a new guest here, Ed the Red, known locally as the Beast, also known as our myself and Martial, Madman Martial's here, older brother. Eddie, welcome to the podcast world. How are you excited about this?
I'm very excited. Hello from Belfast.
So, all right, Eddie, you're in Belfast. We've got to give a shout out there to Northern Ireland. So we're recording this here. Well, we're actually, obviously, we're live. So apparently, Northern Ireland currently 1-0 up in their game over at Windsor Park, not too far from you, Eddie. And we were talking before we came on with Chris there about how big tournaments are always so much better when all the home nations are in it. Like so,
Definitely. Yeah.
yeah. So I think like well, you'd think Ireland have actually got into the World Cup, the celebrations that are going on, but yeah. So well, I mean, obviously, one of the questions I was thinking of putting into this show tonight is could the formula for seeing the playoffs be any more complicated? But I think that everybody just said the resounding answer would be no to that. So there's no point in discussing it. But yeah, how are Wales doing, guys?
Wales are playing tomorrow night. They have a big game against Macedonia. North Macedonia, I think, are unbeaten. They're the surprise nation.
And are Wales on track for?
I think Wales need to win. Right, let me get this right.
I think they've got a playoff chance, haven't they?
Yeah. So yeah, because Belgium are in their league, so Belgium will be first. So Wales need to win tomorrow night to get into the playoffs. Basically, I think that's how it works.
And Scotland then they play tomorrow night as well, and are they fighting for
They need
playoff
to
spot then?
beat Denmark.
Yeah.
If they
So
beat Denmark, they're qualified.
Yeah, Scotland and Denmark
Yeah.
are on the same points, or
Yeah.
Denmark might be a point ahead. But anyway, so if
Denmark on
Scotland
11.
win,
Yeah. Scotland 10.
yeah,
Yeah.
if Scotland win, they're straight through.
They're there. Mm.
happy days. Well, listen. Right. Okay. Well, listen. We've got 5 watchers. What the fuck's
But-
going on? Are you allowed to curse on YouTube Live? I don't know.
It's,
Are you gonna get
it's,
blocked?
it's,
This.
10, it's 10 to 9. It's not past the
Oh, we're not
watershed.
past the watershed. Yes. I don't know if that even exists on the internet, but yeah, guys, are you on? Have you got your YouTube on there?
Yes, I do.
Keep online there and have a look and see if anyone makes any comments.
Yeah.
Would definitely want if you've got any comments. If you are watching this live,
You get a call out.
put up a wee comment there. You make us very excited. Like I said, we're complete newbies at this, and yeah, it's all very exciting. But listen, let's get straight into this. So basically, if you're just joining us, what we were saying we're going to do here around the horn. So we've asked the boys here, all the ones on the show tonight, to come up with a statement or something they want to discuss, and everyone's picked their own. So I'm just going to start with Chris. Is his one is at the very top. So I'll read out now what this is and basically how it's going to work. We're going to have a timer shared up on the screen here. Give me 1 second. Bum, 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 bum. This is all very fancy, like not really, like, but for us it is very fancy. So we've got a timer up in a second. So Chris, 10 minutes we're going to assign to each of these. There's 4 topics. So the topics tonight are going to be: is possession-based football going out of fashion? Second one's going to be VAR. Is it getting better or worse this season in the Premier League? Next one is going to be: why have Man United been improving over the last 6 weeks? And then the final one is going to be: is the Premier League going soft compared to the past? Have the players all got too soft, or do we like it this way? So what we're going to do, like I said, 10 minutes we have for each topic, so we can get it pretty snappy. Don't have to use all your time. The person who's proposed the topic gets to go first. And Chris, you don't have to use the whole 3 minutes, but you're going to have 3 minutes. We're not going to interrupt you, and then we'll all get a wee go. So, Chris, his question is possession-based football going out of fashion? Chris, you tell us.
Okay, I think it is. I've seen a return of the long ball. I think it's very welcome. I've seen a real shift in fashion and teams using the long ball. We've seen the long throw. Teams have been doing that for the past couple of months with great success. We've seen teams not using short corners; they're whipping the ball straight into the box. And now I'm starting to see wingers and wing backs knocking that first ball straight in towards the penalty spot. So effectively using the striker as a target man. So this is a throwback to like the 80s and the 90s. For me, that's really, really exciting. And I think it's no coincidence. It's Man City in the last couple of years. You know, Pep invented this possession-based football, and since they've dropped down the league a little bit. They didn't win the title last year. I think teams are starting to kind of go back to just whipping the ball in. We saw it with England the other week with Reece James, first time ball into the box. Declan Rice gets his head on it, first time 1-0. And I don't know about you guys, but watching the Premier League in the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, it can be a little bit boring when the wing back has the ball. He has the opportunity to knock it in. He doesn't. He checks it back, and the midfielder gives it him back, and they're playing around. And there's guys waiting in the box. So I think we're starting to see a shift. I think the fashion's changing, and we might start to see the kind of long ball into the box, first time balls into the box, making a comeback.
Okay. Is that you happy enough there to stop, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Who wants to pick up in here? Are you? Yeah, Gags, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, that's it.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Not that I'm palm for 3 minutes, but
No, you've
no,
got a minute.
I've got a minute. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, cheers. Right,
Go.
I think the pressure's on. Yeah, I think it's a really good question because I think we've all seen the last few weeks, especially with the long throw-ins. You see, from maybe last season, you started noticing teams from their kickoffs. They almost are. It's almost like rugby. They're playing for like territory. They're hitting the ball straight into kind of to the corner flag area. Because they know then that a lot of the teams try to play out, and then they can kind of capitalize. So I think yes, I think there's reasons behind the possession changing the play. A lot of teams are doing this low block now, so kind of the slow possession base build up. It's very hard to break these teams down. So you have to be a bit quicker. You have to, look for the space, hit the crosses in. So I think, and teams are pressing up as well.
Oh.
There we go.
There you go. Okay, Eddie, you're up next, kid.
Yeah,
You got your
I
you
think it's a
ready?
great topic that Chris has raised, and thank God we're getting back to proper football again. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, I have never been a fan of this Pep Guardiola ticky-tacky stuff crap that he did at Barcelona. Like, I mean, I remember speaking to people back in the days where people were raving about Barcelona's football under him, and I used to always watch Spanish football on a Sunday night, and I never bought it. I never bought into the fact. Like, I got how effective it was, but it wasn't good to watch. And like Pep Guardiola, he's a genius in terms of he turned every other team to play like he wanted them to play because he had the best players. And I just think it's so refreshing to see teams reverting back to what they do best and be more effective. Happy days.
Okay, this is an interesting one. Yeah. Okay. Fuck. I have to do it. I'm cursing all the time now since we've gone live. I agree completely. I think it's a great style of football when you have the right players. When you saw that Barcelona team that played United, what was it, 2010, 11, 12, whatever it was, Champions League final under Pep. Best, amazing football to watch. City over the last couple of years have been brilliant to watch. But when you drop below the elite team, it can get very boring. I mean, United have tried it so many times now since Ferguson left. Van Hal, Mourinho, like not Mourinho so much, but Van Hal and all, passing for nowhere. Like, look at what happened. What happens whenever a team's behind in games? They and last couple of minutes they start pumping the long ball and you put Harry Maguire up front. Why do they do it from the start of the game? It's much more exciting, much more interesting. Find the balance. I say. I hope it is moving away. I'm liking to see the long throws come back in, and yeah, ticky tacky football is dead.
Yeah, it was a good topic.
All right, so we've got it.
Uh,
Listen, that's our first time ever doing that.
to that point, just going back in international football, this is exactly the style that Irish fans wanted the Irish team to play, and we have
100%.
had success. Suddenly, you lump the ball up, you get a header down, you pick up the scraps. Teams find that very hard to defend against.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah, yeah, it is. Chris, like, what about in? I don't want to. I know you've got more experience in the championship with Forest. Like, but what is the style? Is ticky tacky football? I know obviously no Forest
I,
fans
I,
in here now,
I,
but is it
I
not
think
really?
that, yeah, I think teams do try. They just don't have the personnel to do it. I think I think the championship is more of a kind of '90s Premier League style football. Um, the teams do try. They try to play out from the back, but you've got keepers that can't play the ball. So teams get themselves in a whole load of trouble real fast by doing that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with a keeper just clearing his lines. If he can't play the short pass, just whack it, get rid of it. Um, you it's when you look at someone like David Beckham, how would he have got on today playing this style of football? Um, he would have struggled because his game was he'd get the ball, look up, knock it straight into the centre forward.
Yeah. Oh, I wish we could bring backs back. I really do, really do. All right, okay. Irish League football. I haven't been. I used to go a lot to watch Irish League football. Actually, do you watch any football in England, Chris? Like lower leagues?
No, I follow Torquay United because that's my hometown. And we're in the National League South, not doing too bad actually. But no, I follow them. But I don't go to sit, never go to watch them.
What would it be? I think it's at all levels, isn't it? It is really creeping down.
Irish is
Everyone's trying to play this tippy tappy football, but you can only do it with the right players.
All right, so four of us then. We're all kind of in agreement. It's kind of good at the highest level, but we
Tiki Taka's dead.
yeah, hopefully,
well,
hopefully.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay, right there we go. That worked. Hopefully for the first one. We're on to the next one now. I think this is Gags. Is it? About the VAR. VAR. So let me just set up the timer here now. This will be interesting actually because I know Chris and Nottingham Forest have had some things to say around VAR. They felt a bit hard on by this season a few times. Right, guys. So this one here is question being posed is VAR, is it getting better or worse this season? And you got your 3 minutes if you want it.
Okay, well,
Oh, keep going, yeah.
yeah. Whenever I thought about this topic, it wasn't until I started thinking about it or what I was going to talk about. Initially I was going to say like VAR is ruining the game. It needs to go. Uh, but I think the question is it getting better? And I actually think when you actually have a cold look at it, I think there are signs that it is getting better. Um, they have sort of changed. I think they're getting decisions quicker. I think they're whenever things happen, the action is being allowed. The game's still playing, and I think you know behind the scenes, the commentators are telling us there's a VAR decision being looked at, and so I think there's less disruption as a result. Um, I still think there is lots of improvement that need to be done. I believe Hard Web is trying to create like VAR teams, so the referees always working with the same sort of VAR officials. So look, I think there are signs of improvement. I think we all like goal line technology. I think that is there's no question about that. Um, I think the problem comes whenever they try to look at too many things that have happened before goal. If there's a push right at the goal, yes, that's fine. But if they're going back 20 seconds, 25 seconds before goal, it doesn't work. And I think that's what infuriates fans. So look, I think a bit of work to do, but there is improvement in it. I think it is here to stay. Um, but yeah. So I think it is improving, but it'll be interesting to see what everybody else thinks.
All right, Gags, finally you came back on there.
Yeah, yeah.
You did very well not to freak out
I
because he
know.
doesn't like me touching his phone, his expensive phone. I thought you were going to freak out in the middle of it there, but you kept your cool. So, okay, who wants to kick us off here? Chris, should we give you go back
Yeah,
to
I'll go.
you?
Yeah.
So yeah, interested in getting your Forest fan opinion on
Mhm.
VAR. Away you go.
I think VI is improving. It's got to, isn't it? It's what 5 seasons in or whatever. It's got to improve. My whole problem is they have the benefit of a replay. They're watching the replay and still making the wrong decision. This is the whole problem. The people that are watching the replays are still getting it wrong. We had the problem with Bournemouth with the corner and Manchester United. I like to think these things even themselves out over a season. But with VAR, that now shouldn't be an issue because every decision should be the right decision. Some of them are still blatantly incorrect. And you've got someone physically watching a screen and making the wrong call. I think they need ex players in the box watching the replays. I think ex players would make a better decision along with ex referees.
Over to Ed the Red.
Yeah, I just think we've been hoodwinked with VAR. Like, I mean, the reason it was brought in was to overturn any clear and obvious errors, and that's not what's happening. It's not what's happening. The way it's been implemented in the game, like every single goal is checked, and that's not what fans were sold when it was brought in. And I just think I don't think if it's got any better, it's marginally better, but I still think it's really, really poor. I think the length of time, the stoppage in the games, the lack of fans in the stadium having any clue what's happening. For me, I just don't like it, and I would get rid of it. Goal line technology for me is the only thing that's been proven, and I would get rid of the rest of it.
Okay. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think some things have improved with it. For me, penalties. There was a time there where if the ball even touched your fingernail, it was a guaranteed penalty, and it worked for us a few times. I know, remember Rashford and PSG in the Champions League many years ago when we got a penalty. Probably shouldn't have got a penalty at that. So I do think it's improved in that sense, but uh, I think it's inexcusable that they haven't improved the in stadiums fan experience. Like, I mean, it wouldn't be hard. I know not all every stadium should have a TV. Like Old Trafford's a disgrace; it doesn't have a TV. Wouldn't be hard to do. Like, and then things like what happened the other night. Whenever sometimes they don't show things. Like there was the first goal for Hungary against Ireland yesterday. It looked like it might have been offside. It wasn't shown, and sometimes that makes you think is there a bit of scuddlery going on. Um,
Well, yeah, that is poor. Yeah, I was kind of turning her out at that as well. Um, yeah, it's an interesting debate, and I know where Eddie's coming from. I thought what Chris had said was good about employing ex players to have some sort of say, because if you've played the game, yeah, you kind of have a bit of
You, yeah, you. Sometimes it's the angle of the replay they're showing as well makes some tackles look worse or not as bad as they are.
yeah, and things look
Um,
worse in slow motion.
oh,
Whenever
totally.
they go
Yeah,
so slow.
100%.
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, like if you've ever played the game, you know what's a foul and what's not a foul, or what's a bad foul and what's not a bad
100%.
foul.
Yeah,
And when you slow it down, in slow mo, things often look a lot worse, and it's not the intent of the player. And I just think that's where technology doesn't work. I think it's perfectly fine when it's clear cut decisions. Something's over the line. Somebody's handled the ball, like Thierry Henry against Ireland and
yeah,
mm,
back
yeah.
in the day. But
yeah,
clear and obvious errors. Like every goal now is subject to a VAR decision. Like,
yeah. It's the
and that's
nature of the
not what
game.
we
Yeah,
were told when it was brought in.
well,
It's not like.
Look at the Liverpool Man City game the other week and the Van Dijk header. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I wasn't watching the game, but I heard all this controversy about it. And I'll be honest. Whenever I first watched it back, I had no idea. I hadn't heard why the call, but I couldn't see. I couldn't see why because like the only thing I could see was okay, was the player interfering with the goalie, but the angle behind the TV or behind the net clearly showed that the ball was never, the goalie was
yeah. But
never,
yeah. That was a goal for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought they got the right decision there, because Robertson ducks his head, and then
Yeah,
although he's not right in the line, he is still in front of the keeper, and he's made that movement.
he's not.
I thought there was enough there, and that's not me. That's not me with my anti-Liverpool
He wasn't,
glasses on.
but he wasn't like I was a goalie, right? And I would stand up for a goalie if I would say, yeah, I thought that was. But from the behind the TV or behind the net angle, right? The goalie stand here, the ball's coming in. Robertson standing here, right? He's not in my line of sight. Now, if he kind of jumped in and then came out, then I would agree. But he never, he never crossed over.
no,
If it,
Steve, I disagree. I, my first, I have to say, my first response to that was that's really unlucky for Liverpool. But I totally think it was the right decision because Robertson avoided the ball, right? But Robertson could have just stayed up and nodded the ball the other direction. So if you're a goalie, you don't know what he's going to do. He's in a position there where he could change the side of the ball. I think he was interfering with play, and I think it was the right decision.
what do you think, Chris? Back me up
I,
here.
I, I thought it was a goal. I think if before VAR that goal stands 100%, and I've seen them given as well. I've seen them given since the introduction of VAR. It's a debate with there's lots of situations like this. And the phases of play and all these different things. I think if VAR it's not going to go away. It's staying. I think it should only come into play if let the referee make the decision, and then obviously check if it's a clear and obvious error. Other than that, just let the referee run the game. He's got enough technology with goal line technology on his watch and everything else, and he's
Ha-
in constant contact.
have they got rid of that term though? Clear and obvious? Because I know everybody.
No, no, I think it's still there.
Have they not got rid of that?
No.
I thought they got rid of it.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Not that
because
I'm
I know.
aware of, but
Yeah, well, maybe I'm
It
wrong.
seems it
Maybe I'm wrong.
seems now it's you might be right because it seems now they want to check absolutely everything.
Yeah,
I remember a couple of years ago when Liverpool scored a perfectly good goal. I can't remember who it was against now, and the information given to the referee in his earpiece was the goal should stand, and he misheard. Can you remember?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I
Yeah,
do
and he
remember
and he
that. Yeah.
misheard, so he cancelled the goal. And then the ball went out of play. I think it was 27 seconds later, and they said that he couldn't take it back and give them a goal because of what had happened in the 27 seconds. That doesn't seem to be a thing now. So do you know when you're watching a game and they say checking for a penalty? We see that possible penalty check, and the ball's still in play.
Yeah.
What happens if it is a penalty? Do they just blow the whistle and stop?
Yeah,
You
they
know,
do. Yeah, yeah.
if someone gets booked up until that point, in that does that booking stand?
I think
It,
about a year or two ago there was a game. I think it was in Europe where they were checking for penalty, and the other team went up and scored, and they ended up cancelling that goal and bringing
yeah,
it back
that's
for
that's my
penalty.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah, if
yeah,
someone gets booked in that time, do
yeah.
they cancel that booking off? Does the fouls do they go onto the stats or off the stats?
It's
Because
the
it's all
same
about stats now. Isn't it?
if somebody scores a goal and takes his top off and gets a booking, and then the goal's ruled out. So I assume
Yeah,
the booking
does he keep the
is the
booking? Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
lads, on before VAR, I would just have accepted that Van Dijk goal was a goal, and I think under real football, anyone watching football, I would say that's a great header and it's a good goal, you know. But I think this is a problem under VAR. We're having these conversations now where we don't even know what the rules are, and it's got ridiculous. VAR has gone back now. Like, where does it go back? How far does it go back? Does it go back 15 seconds? Does it go back 30 seconds?
Yeah,
It's nonsense. It was
yeah,
meant to be like really,
yeah. I think
obvious errors,
I think
and
we're
now it's going back checking things from 30 seconds before a good goal, and I have no time for it.
yeah.
No, I totally agree.
I
Totally
think
agree.
technology
Yeah,
can be used for goal line technology, and I think offsides, but I think they're too they're too forensic in the offsides. There
yeah.
has to be a
Nonsense.
clear,
Yeah,
They seem to
see
want
this.
to cancel every goal.
yeah.
Yeah,
They seem to want to cancel every time someone scores. They seem to want to, like we're saying, how far do they go back? 20 seconds basis. They seem to want to find a problem with every goal.
yeah. That happened in Dublin the other night as well because it was after, I don't know, was it the first or second Ireland goal the other night? I just know that he was celebrating, and then it kind of went back to and like Ronaldo was around the referee, and they were checking for a possible red card earlier in the play. Do you, do you, did you remember that? You
what's
were
that?
there.
What said it again?
Good to know you're listening. No, I was saying against Ireland the other night after it was like the first or second. I think it was the second goal. Ireland scored, and then there was a delay before it kicked off again because there was a check. Maybe you didn't even know because you were in the stadium. There was a check for potential offside, or sorry, red card, because Ronaldo was up in the referee's face, the center. But you probably didn't even know that because you were in the stadium. Although,
And no, do you know something? There was no the only time they announced there was a VAR was the red card check, and there was I was aware there was a delay after the Ireland goal, but
yeah.
there was no communication to us.
So there was a
Yeah,
check, unless I dreamt it. There was a check for a possible red card earlier in that play, like which just, again goes back to the point of like you're taking away what's the most exciting part of football? People scoring goals,
Here,
you're taking that
here.
away.
Never mind that. Like, Gags, what was the crack when Ronaldo got sent off in the
do you know
stadium?
so? Do you know something? As I was telling Chris off air, I thought whenever we knew Ronaldo was going to get sent off, and a couple of we kind of saw him doing what he did at the time. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. Everybody was going absolutely nuts, and it was fantastic. I actually couldn't. I was shouting, and nothing was coming out. I was aware of that at the time. I tell you, there was no United affiliation with him. I was telling them to get off that darn pitch.
Well, here, listen, big news in before we move on to the next topic. We have got our first comments of the night, and it's from Killian, the football genius. He's in his on his sick bed watching this here. Says, "Hi guys, great discussion tonight. I'm brilliant to see the first live stream. Hope to be back in the studio next week. Get well soon, Killian." And also, there is a message from Leah, loving the show. Our first female listener.
There we go.
Happy
There we
days.
go.
We're really, really cutting moving forward here tonight. All right, so on to the next
Got
topic here.
diverse audience.
Yeah, yeah. Next topic here. Don't know, Chris. You may have some opinions on this, you may not. So Eddie, this is one you wanted to bring in. Question is, let me get the timer set up here. 1 second. This will be interesting now. Get to see what you're going to say about this because we had a kind of a discussion about this last week. And start screen. There we go. Okay, so the question now is why have Man United been improving over the last 6 weeks? All right, Eddie, 3 minutes you got. Go.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Um. Yeah. Why United getting better? Um. I think it's really, really simple. I think if actually you look at the signings we've made over the summer, I think in Bumo, Cunha, um, maybe less so Sheshko, but uh, and then Lamans as the season has gone on. I think we've brought in players with the right attitude and a different attitude to the players we got rid of. If you think of the players we got rid of, Rashford, Sancho, um, Garnacho, I think all these boys were just taking the hand out of us. Like, I think they were just picking up wages, thought they were bigger than the club. I think we've got a new group of players now who want to play for our club and have just come in with a different attitude. And I think that has spread through the team. I see players now that are seem to have a bit more confidence and belief, and there just seems a different attitude with United this season. And I think confidence is a big thing in football. Like, it's when you start seeing boys up the field who really care and aren't taking any crap, and Cunha has, like, I wondered about Cunha when we bought him, but he's what we need. Like, he's got that sort of a bit of arrogance about him, a bit of sort of, I want to win. And Bumo's been brilliant, brilliant. And Lamans, and getting rid of Onana, that clown. Like, I mean, we've been saying it for the last 2 or 3 years. Like, you know, he was brought in as the top keeper in Europe, and he's been useless. We all know he's been a complete nightmare. And Lamans, even within like 3 or 4 appearances, he's a keeper. He catches the ball, does the basic things, shows he can save it. He's not a prima donna, and I think that has just made a big difference. The other part of this that I think we're better this year is no European football. When we were doing crap last season, I thought, let's not get into Europe. And I think that's made a big difference. I think having Luke Shaw fit has made a big difference. I think having Delict as a standard, a consistent centre half in the back line, we just have a bit of consistency in the team now. So I think in terms of the fitness of the squad, and I think the confidence, and I think the attitude of the new players, that's why we're doing better. And even when things are going wrong, they have a bit of confidence, a bit of fight in them to make it work.
Okay. Gags, go over to you and get your minute up here. Do you agree with what Eddie's saying there? And is there anything else though that you think is playing a factor?
Yeah, well, I would agree with a lot of what Eddie said there. The players, I think we've kind of bought Premier League proven players. think we went through a phase in the past few years where we're buying potential and bringing in players from different leagues, and they're just a wee bit like we're seeing with Sheshko, just finding it hard to adapt. And I think also a big part of it is one thing maybe Eddie hadn't mentioned. It was Amorim. Radcliffe came out maybe about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and he finally put it to bed. He says Amorim's here, he's staying, and I think results as well. Getting a win, getting 2 wins. We had 3 wins in a row. It just breeds a bit of confidence, and the players suddenly start believing in what Ruben is trying to get them to do, and we're starting to play in more in a style that we expect a Ruben Amorim team to look like.
Chris, do you want to give us a thought on this, or do you want to skip this one out?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, I'll jump in.
All right, give us a Nottingham Forest fan and why you think United have been improving over the last 6 weeks. Then.
You've definitely improved, tenfold. I think it's a very, very simple case of giving the manager time. Managers in the Premier League don't get the luxury of time. Ratcliffe has said that he's got what 2 years. He's going to be there in 2 years' time. That's obviously going to make him feel more confident. But also, it's giving him that time to implement his systems and bringing the players he wanted, which he's done with Kuno and Burmo and Seshko. And players obviously feel they feel sound with knowing the manager's there for the next 2 years and the manager likes them. When you're switching managers every couple of months or every 6 months, that upsets players. I think you've given him time, and I think what happened with Ferguson when you gave him time, he almost, I think he kept his job at Forest. So I think you've given him time, and it's paying dividends.
That alarm's probably going to annoy the life out of me. Yeah, I'm actually just thinking, listen to what you're saying, and I actually think a massive reason over the last 6 games why we've seen a big change is the goalkeeper. And I think, when you talk about teams and successful teams, you're always talking about the spine. You're talking about, your goalie, your solid defense, your midfield, and your strikers. That's, they've got a good spine to them. And I think him coming in, and like I said last week, he's nothing. He's nothing fancy. The stats from the Spurs game, he had the worst or he had the least accurate passes, and he says I don't care about his passing. It's about can he make saves. He made big saves in that game. That's what we need. And then adding that extra quality up front, like you said, Eddie, with the Cunha and Mbuemo being a fresh air, breath of fresh air around the pitch. And then fair play to Casemiro. He's got himself together. World Cup year. That's making a difference. And long may it continue. Hopefully, we continue it on now, and we don't have that post international break slump as we can sometimes get. Were you playing things there? Because I could hear it.
No,
No, it must have been. It sounded like it was coming through.
By
Sorry.
God,
Just give it
nobody
off to.
mentioned Bruno Fernandes in that conversation.
well, that's quite telling that he wasn't pointed out as any sort of influence in our good run.
Yeah.
Definitely think the ship might be sailing with Bruno. Um,
I think we should. I think it's hard. Like it is really hard because
I think he's playing in the wrong position.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
I don't think he should be in centre midfield. I think he should be behind the striker and fight it out with Mbumo, Cunha, Ahmad, and we have two solid centre midfielders. And I think that's the problem. So maybe it's not really all his fault. You know what I mean? He'll play wherever.
I think we're better to have him this year. I think the main thing for the United this year is to get back into Europe. For me, if we get Champions League, happy days.
I think that's the goal. But
Didn't expect Champions League, but Europe, get up to Europe, get that. Make if we can get Champions League this year, geez, that would be a really big thing. Um, I think Bruno, again, he's playing out of position, but he's still an important member of the team, as frustrated as he can be.
Oh,
He
very
can
much so.
he can still deliver important things.
Did you see he scored a hat trick for Portugal last night?
yeah, two penalties.
9-1 without Ronaldo.
I know. Ronaldo be raging.
He will.
And two of them were penalties. That would have been two guarantees
Oh,
Ronaldo goals.
yeah.
You big baby.
Here, do you see that though? Ronaldo actually, as it stands, misses the first two games of the
So I
World Cup.
believe. So I believe of the
Of
World
the
Cup.
World Cup, yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
Oh, that is beautiful.
yeah.
I reckon. I reckon Trump will change that.
Yeah, he probably will.
What do you
Yeah.
make of Trump saying? Did you hear what he was saying last week?
Trumpel, yeah,
He's like,
he's a
ah, we might.
beautiful guy. He's a beautiful guy from Portugal. We need him
He
here from the start.
he he was saying that he might move. You know, he was like, if he might move games. You know,
Yeah,
out of cities that
venues.
are if they're not safe and all. Like, and it's just like, and he's
Yeah,
talk the loving between him and the FIFA president makes me
Yeah,
sick.
it's
Like,
disgusting.
ah, disgusting. Like, really, really disgusting. But yeah, no,
one thing I'll say about United, but talking about their improvement, we're 11 games in, and in the Premier League, we've let in 18 goals. That needs to improve. I think it will improve, but 18 goals let in after 11 games.
well,
It's quite significant.
we recorded before we came on here live tonight. We recorded a pre-game show, which will go out this Thursday before United against Everton, and what we were talking about that we were talking about the butcher and the potential return. You know, so United have the although Gags was saying that Sesko's confirmed to be out for a month, and United now in a position where we don't have a recognised striker, again. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and Everton definitely will bring it to us, especially we're talking about
Is
Jack Grealish.
Martinez back? Lisandro
He's
Martinez?
he he's nearly back. We don't know. I think he is kind of ready. He's been training on grass.
Like, if he went to international with his international. I think if a player is going on international duty,
Yeah,
he has to be available when he comes back to play for his club.
yeah,
You know, because like, you know,
Yeah,
if he's fit to go on international duty, he should be fit to play for your club.
yeah.
100%, yeah.
You
So
know,
yeah,
yeah,
when,
100%.
when he makes his first appearance, it'll be the last 10 minutes, I'd imagine, in the game.
yeah, yeah. Okay, right. Listen, one more topic of discussion here tonight. This was actually mine. Let me get my clock on the go here. Not that I need 3 minutes, but let's see here. Last topic of debate tonight is is the Premier League has the Premier League got too soft compared to the past? So, what do I mean by that? I'm going to sound a bit like Roy Keane, but I absolutely agree with what he's talks about. I hate how there just seems there's so many games now that I see that should be big rivalry games that can go without any incidents, any tackles, or you know, it's not unusual for a Man United Man City game to have no yellow cards. No, I think the last game there was no yellow cards, maybe possibly,
Crazy.
and you know, yeah, I just think that you know you're starting to see. Obviously, we've been seeing diving for years and years now, but like I just think that I've been watching back. I sound like an old man saying this, like, but I've been watching back just to get a perception of what was football like 10 years ago. What was it like, you know, early noughties, and it was so different. Do you know what I mean? It was really, really different. And you know, you're watching players like Rooney and stuff, and the tackles that are flying in, and you know, am I? I don't know whether I'm seeing. Maybe that's just like, oh, back in my day was better. Maybe that's what I am seeing, but I just find now that whenever I'm looking at some big games, you're seeing too many players hugging and kissing each other in the, you know, before they're going out, and even at halftime, walking in at halftime, and I don't know. I just kind of get the sense. Maybe Crystal can tell me this here, but I kind of get the sense you're not going to see that in championship level. Maybe you are, but yeah, I'd like to see a bit more. I don't know, a bit more guts or a bit more grit come into it. But I think it's probably gone those days. Like, what are your thoughts, guys? If you had the choice, would you? Okay, even actually, I was watching highlights of United Spurs from I think it was like 2003 or something, White Hart Lane, and football was so different. Like, in some ways, it was really bad. Like, there wasn't good passing. There was a lot of long balls and stuff, but it was exciting. So again, it kind of comes back to the idea of the ticky tacky football and whether it's dead. So maybe we'll get a hybrid of that. But Do you disagree with me, or do you think it's a different type of toughness now? Obviously there's a lot more speed and it's more mental toughness, perhaps. But yeah, who's going to go here, guys? That's all I've got to say about that. I'd like to see it get a wee bit tougher, a wee bit tougher. Eddie, do you want to kick us off? I think you've kicked us off
Yeah,
before. Yeah, yeah. Okay, hold on a second. We'll update that.
listen, I don't know. I could do this in 5 seconds. I would agree 100%. Like I think I don't think football now is as enjoyable to watch as it was back in the 90s, or you know, I mean, I think that physicality and when I look back on matches, United Liverpool or United Arsenal back 20 years ago and stuff, like it's just a different level. And I mean, it's kind of what made you sort of you know love the game. And I do sometimes wonder watching the games. Some of the games now, like they're just so passive. They're so just about technical ability to pass the ball about. Like it doesn't like really float my boat like a lot of it. Like, and you need a bit of aggression. You need a bit of it's a contact sport, and yeah, it's a bit of a shame. But I think at least a bit of the long throw, long ball stuff's bringing a wee bit of that back.
Gags,
Yeah,
you want to go next?
sure. Yeah, 100%. I think we would all swap modern day football to go back 20, 30 years. 100%. I mean, like the football was better. It's a complete myth that we're living in a time of good football. The players are like the majority of the players out there are complete snowflakes. I mean, they're getting touched and they're holding their faces whenever they got touched on the shoulder. It's just complete play acting. Bring back the days where everyone could get it. Think of Cantona, kung fu kicking a Crystal Palace fan in the stand.
I'm not sure that was
Everyone,
in the rules. In
everyone
fairness,
could get it. Do you know what I mean? So I think VAR has had an impact as well, because any sort of challenge that could be slightly dubious is being penalised.
Mm. I like the way you brought it back there, to
Yeah,
topics.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, Chris, what's your thoughts? Do you hear us, Chris?
I totally agree. I think the game's gone soft. It's yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
yeah.
I yeah. I totally agree. I think the game's gone soft. It's almost turning into a non-contact sport. I think players that have changed. They're so more athletic. They're so much fitter. When you think back to people like Julian Dix and Razor Ruddock, they were slightly overweight. So players are very different. Their body compositions are very different now. So the physical side of the game might be because of that. But I think the VAR thing is huge. People are afraid to put their foot in because it's going to be seen. I would love it to go back to how it was. The Vinnie Jones, the Roy Keane, the Vieiras, that kind of situation.
I
Can
think
you
there
hear
must.
me?
Yeah, I think there must be
Oh,
just a bit of a delay because I thought you'd stop talking and then we started. So apologies for that. But well, funny. Ronaldo wasn't worried
that's
too
right.
worried. Ronaldo wasn't too worried about VAR. But he was given the elbow.
Yeah, well, I think it was just an instinct
Yeah.
from him. But it's funny. It was about just over a week ago. I think we'd mentioned I had the honor of meeting Mick McCarthy, and he had some great stories from whenever he was a player in the 80s. And it was just interesting listening to him. He would talk about. He talked in particular about playing United and Norman Whiteside. And he said Whiteside was a big lump of a fella, and he says they spent the first like 50 or 60 minutes in a complete tussle. Every time Whiteside was near him, they were elbowing each other and kicking lumps out of each other. And then it was after about 60 minutes, the ball suddenly appeared between them, and they were like, "What the hell is that?" They were just constantly just at each other. But then after the game, he says he went out to like a local bar or nightclub for a pint after the game, and then all he heard was like, "Mick, Mick," and it was Whiteside. And he says he went up, and him and Whiteside spent a few hours after kicking lumps out of each other, they spent a few hours drinking pints and having the best of crack. So I think things have just changed so much. See, nowadays, and what bugs me more than anything is this swapping of the shirts. You even see it sometimes at half time. I think Keane's seen that before and he's just gone crazy. Do you know,
Yeah.
and see,
Do me a favor.
and as you said as well, see this talking and hugging each other in the tunnel before the game. Like, come on, guys! Like, what sort of attitude is that? You know. So,
Yeah.
but
I,
yeah, things need to go back.
I, you see that thing about before the match, like it doesn't. I just don't get it. Like people say about changing times, but you're going out. You're still going out to win a game of football. You don't go and hug your enemy before you go out in that pitch. And that really annoys me. And people say about foreign players and all that crap. But there is something about that. Like there's something about that sort of attitude, that mindset, going out in the pitch beforehand.
It's
That's
not just
just
foreign
really
players
annoying.
though.
I think the biggest thing in modern football that annoys me is the cheating. It's just the pure cheating. And I think, if anything was going to be used by technology, it would be, calling out the cheats after matches. If you could bring in something that showed somebody had dived
Yeah, and had a retrospective.
retrospectively
Yeah,
and got the 3 match ban,
Yeah.
I think that would do
Yeah.
such a lot of good for football. Like,
yeah, big time, big time.
But I'll say how much the game has changed. In the early '90s, I was at Torquay United. I was in the under 16s there, and we had a centre half, a pro called Wes Saunders. I think he played for Dundee, and he went on to manage Torquay. And our manager was our youth development officer, a guy called Paul Compton. He went on to West Brom and things. He got Wes to come in, and Wes used to do a session with us once a month, showing us how to position our elbow when we went up for a header. So an opposing player's face would land on the elbow. How when we went down within a tackle, how we dead in the other player's leg. And we would do a whole session with Wes Wonder showing us how to hurt our opponents. Imagine doing that at under 16s nowadays.
The dark arts.
brilliant, brilliant.
Do you know something? Do you know who
Yeah.
I reckon a modern day coach would still be doing those tactics? Diego Simeone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sean Dice. Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
100%.
100%.
Get
Yeah,
stuck
totally.
into them.
Yeah.
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 That's the
Very
only
true.
reason the Irish won in Budapest at the weekend.
Yeah, getting stuck into them. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Goes a long way.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Players don't like it. Players don't like it.
Well, Ronnie doesn't like it up. He doesn't like what was that Captain
He
Manners?
doesn't like it up him.
All right. Yes. Do you know what? I think that's the fact that I've quoted Dad's Army means officially we are in an old man's
no,
club
you
here tonight. So maybe
you
I'm
are.
in an old
Yeah.
man's club here tonight. All right. So recap there on it. Possession-based football is hopefully dead. We're all agreeing with that. VAR is annoying and makes some people
It's
would
here
get
to
rid of it.
stay,
It's
but
here to stay,
it's
but we kind of yeah.
Jim Stale, yeah.
Nobody likes it. Put it that
no.
way. Don't get anybody said, "Oh, I think it's
It can
great."
be improved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but Man United been improving because Ruben Amorim is amazing, and was not one of the things.
I
Ruben,
don't think that was the summary of the
Ruben
conversation.
Amorim, you scored this again.
Yeah.
And the Premier League has definitely gone soft, and too much hugging and kissing and niceties pre and post, and even in during the game. But I think actually what Chris said there about the size of players, so many players now, they're stick thin, like they do so much running.
Mm.
They really couldn't. But yeah,
Oh, they're tiny.
I
Tiny
mean,
guys, yeah.
it's not to say that they're not tough. Like I mean, I look at the likes of Bruno. Bruno does get a lot of abuse. And he's never injured. He keeps playing.
No, that's
So
true.
there's
Yeah.
a different type of toughness, like you know what I mean. But it's like it's just that general. It's not to say that they're not.
There's conditioning these days. There's strength and conditioning. So players look, you know, they're wiry, but they're tough.
Strong.
But they're snowflakes.
But they're snowflakes because the rules or the laws of the game let them Pete cheats.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, I think that's a good way to finish there tonight. Everyone, they're all snowflakes. They're all cheating. Right. Okay, guys. Well, listen here. I think hopefully this has been live the whole time, and we haven't just been talking to ourselves.
Ourselves.
Well, we know that we know we had a
Yes.
couple of people watching, and I think next Monday night, this was. Oh, have we lost Chris? Didn't kick him out there. He must have lost his reception there. But I think next Monday night, United are playing Everton, and we normally record our podcast on a Monday night, and so we decided that next week we're gonna me Gags and the Genius are gonna watch the game together, I believe, and the plan is to go live straight away, straight after the game, no holds barred, regardless. So I think there'll be a bit of heat coming into that. Be
Could
interesting
be.
doing it straight after.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Oh, I'm back. There
Chris,
we go.
Chris is
He's back.
back, yep. And just saying there, Chris, that this time next week, or sorry, next Monday night, United are playing, and but we normally record our podcast on Monday night and get it out on the Tuesday. But we're just going to go live straight away. So this is kind of a test run tonight to see how it works. And so anyone who's watching this, any particularly United fans, particularly local fans, we're trying to get we've been joining some of the Facebook groups there, and any Man United fans want to come on next week and get involved and have their say as well, we're definitely up for that. Hoping the Evertonians are going to come on next Monday night as well, straight after, give their views. So it'll be interesting. It'll be another new thing. But Chris, thank you for coming along tonight.
Thank you, guys.
It's great to have
Cheers, man.
another. It's always good to have another team on. I think it provides a different insight. And Ed the Red, the Beast in the East. He's Belfast. I've got so many names for you. Yeah, listen, good to have you on tonight, and yeah, will you come on again?
Yeah, definitely. Cheers, guys.
All right, guys. Listen, we're going to
Good
wrap it
crack,
up there.
boys.
We're going to wrap it up there. Like I said, we've done a podcast here for the pre-game show for Everton. It's going to go out live, or it's not going to go out. It's going to go out on Thursday morning. Keep an eye out for that. We've got a very, very special guest, Everton fan on that show. A very special guest, well-known guest actually. So keep an eye out there this Thursday. And yeah, that's us for tonight, Gags. Anything to say?
Go on, Troy Park.
Yes.
Cheers,
Thank you very
guys.
much. Thank you, Trey
Speak
Parr.
to you
Right, guys.
soon. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Good luck.
Speak soon, guys.
See you later.